growth is good. If you're not growth, if you're not in growth, I always say to people, if you're not growing, you're going backwards. So it's either continuous improvement, continuous growth, or continuous decline. One or the other. You can't hold ground.
Welcome back, everybody, to Roots to Ryze, a journey of growth, a podcast for those that are curious about the guests that come on, about their journey. Where did they start from? Everyone's got a journey on where they came from to where they are now, and today I'm joined by Bernard Powell, CEO, founder of Premier Group. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Nick. It's great to be here. I'm really, really excited. I love having fun with great podcast hosts like you. So yeah, bring it on. I'm excited.
Bernard, you popped up on my feed. I'm gonna say, maybe 5 years ago.
Okay.
Maybe 3, 4, 5 years ago.
And you've put up with me for that long.
Well, the thing is, Bernard, you don't see many founders, CEOs of typical manufacturing B2B companies with the types of energy that you're coming across as,
Okay.
Which is, for me as a marketer, I'm just like, who the hell is this guy? Like, what is this guy doing, and what's the company all about? So just give us, before we get into that, man, just give the listeners a bit of intro into you and where you're from and stuff.
Okay, cool. Married with 2 beautiful children, a beautiful wife, of course. Sterling, he's 7. Carmen, she's 5, and my world,
Wow.
amazing. My reason for getting out of bed every morning. And anyway, so I love to play the piano and sing, so I do a bit of recording on the side and have some fun with that. Like to play and sing with others as well. Got a nice big Yamaha grand piano, so that's my like go-to hobby.
I'm not going to be singing. I'm not singing on this podcast.
Can you sing for me?
I can absolutely can't hold a note, can't do any of that sort of stuff.
I won't ask you to harmonise then, right?
Absolutely not.
Okay, no, that's cool. Anyway, so then what else? Landscape design, absolutely love. That's kind of where I started early years, landscape design and construction. We can talk about that in a minute. But so I love to design. I do heaps of design work for friends and family, and I've got like over an acre of crazy gardens that I've spent way too much money on. But that's sort of where I go to, half an hour a day, do some trimming, listen to my audio books. It's my like real stress relief, growth and learning, connecting with Mother Nature. It's great. If you don't do gardening, I recommend it. It's amazing. Anyway, what else? And currently living on a lifestyle block with 6 goats. We've got the royal goats, Wills and Kate. They're great fun. And we have a few sheep. And I don't know, what else do you want to know? Yeah, gardening. Love to keep fit, healthy. Very passionate about health and fitness. Yep. And I kind of preach the health and fitness gospel to everyone I meet because, it changes your life. Anyway, what else?
That's cool, man. No, that's cool. Like I said, you popped up a couple of years ago. I just remember, I think you had that pink shirt on. Did you used to wear the pink?
Yeah. We used to wear
was that your branding?
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
And at the time I was in contact with a lot of landscaping is funny as well, but also the suppliers to landscapers, right?
Yes, okay. Yep.
And just your very kind of typical founder, CEO of a $10-20 million manufacturing company who did not believe in social media, let alone even getting on camera.
Yep.
And then not even having the energy that you were putting across when you were doing those videos. Are you still doing those videos?
Yeah, lots. Yeah, do lots of videos, lots of podcasts, lots of fun. Yeah, so we created the Premier Business Academy, which is kind of like to help all of our clients with their businesses and stuff, but still do lots to share, our manufacturing, our culture, how we built a world-class culture, how we built an award-winning culture. So love sharing that with people, anyone who wants to listen, anyone who wants to connect, and
And have you always been this kind of energetic, what I can tell, putting you in a box because that's all I can see, is an extroverted type of a person? Is that who you
I guess
are?
So. I guess so. Yeah, I used to love. Probably not very proud of this, but used to love putting on a good performance ever since I can remember being a little kid. And then when I learned to play the piano and got into music and stuff, I really enjoy playing and singing for audience and stuff. I love it. It gives me a real buzz seeing people enjoy the music and I love. I get a lot of energy from being around people. So I go into when I go into a room, I seem to like really get heaps of energy from those around me and. Yeah. Does that answer your question? Probably
Does,
not.
man. It does, no, it absolutely does, man. And like I think it's infectious. Definitely in today's time, it's needed.
Yes.
But I think it's needed. It's needed everywhere. So I was just very curious as to kind of like where that came from in terms of your outgoingness and just putting yourself out there. Because I've had this conversation with many CEOs who are very similar businesses on the outside heels, not on the inside. I would imagine.
Yeah.
That would absolutely not be on camera in any way,
Yes.
shape.
Yes, I meet
or
lots of
form.
them too.
Some of your
I've got
peers.
lots of mates in business who don't ever want to be on camera. So, and that's cool. The reason I use it because, as you know, you're a marketer. Is like, I find that video, like, even though I think all my videos are really cheesy and probably lots of them are very boring, but I feel it's a really good way of connecting with people because they it builds trust and rapport so quickly. And when LinkedIn first brought out the video feature, I think I was one of the early adopters. And in fact, there was a few marketers that included me in their blogs and stuff and said, hey, here's a great example of a guy who's grabbed this new feature on LinkedIn and he's doing stuff. And so, so I believe, and we see tons of likes and comments and still do, and great feedback from people saying, hey, even on YouTube, I do heaps of, it's cheap and cheerful. We do tons of going on site and just grab the selfie stick and do a video going around and of explaining the brick or the turf or the driveway or whatever, and it's very raw and there's no editing, and it's like I make heaps of mistakes, but we get comments all the time saying, I had one in here just the other day in our display room saying, hey man, we just did not know what brick to go for. We bumped into your YouTube channel. We saw this crazy guy in a pink shirt walking around this house site, and they said, you told us everything we needed to know about this product, and that made the decision for us. We get feedback like that all the time, so it's powerful.
Just going to segue here for a moment. Call out to all you CEOs of manufacturing companies, B2B suppliers, building suppliers, automotive suppliers that think that social media and video is just a waste of time. Here's a guy who's making heaps of mistakes, doesn't care, right? Going through the behind the scenes of like a factory or a product or what have you. And guess what, guys? Guess what, CEOs? It's free. He hasn't paid anyone.
It's
free. He hasn't paid up $10, $20, $30, $40,000 a month to an agency to come
free.
along. He's just done it himself.
Yeah, I agree, Nick. That's a great comment. And you know what?
Sorry,
you go.
Yeah, and generated heaps of business from it.
Yeah. No, some weeks my LinkedIn post will get, 50, 60,000 impressions, and that's people that may have never seen us before or come across our brand.
Yeah.
That's a lot of eyeballs on the brand, right, in a positive way, because we're always sharing positive stuff, we're always sharing helpful stuff, whether it's about products, whether it's about business, whether it's about culture, whatever, always trying to add value for people. So, yeah, I totally agree. Get your camera out.
Get your camera out.
Get your phone out.
Put your ego to one side.
You got to ditch that. You got to ditch that big time.
Throw it away. And just on another note as well, your first 10, 20, 30 videos are going to suck.
Yeah, I agree.
Who cares? Who cares?
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
No one actually cares. So anyway, end of my rant on my.
No, it's good. It's good. Just a little note on that, actually, Nick. This might add some value for your listeners. Is I've got an architect friend who's just started doing those.
Yes.
And we've been connected for years, and they're like too probably scared to do the video thing. They've just started doing it, and they're just getting tons of views, tons of positive feedback, and they're like, why didn't we do this 10 years ago? So yeah, it works. It works. And our architect's out on site taking selfie videos, very primitive, very raw, very cheesy, but it's working.
It works.
Costs nothing.
Doesn't have to be polished. It doesn't have to be. Doesn't have to cost you any money. Just get your damn camera out. Because my rule is like you're depriving the world of your knowledge.
Yeah, absolutely.
Seriously,
I agree. Everyone's got some value to share, right? Everyone's got a different journey, different story.
1,000%. So, look, you're on the Growth Podcast, right?
Love growth. It's a good word.
I'm the director of a company called Ryze, and we help businesses grow through various ways, sales and marketing channels, and all the rest of it. It's not about us. When you hear that word growth, right? You get 10 people in the room, they're all going to have 10 different answers to that word growth and what it means to them. But what does that word mean to you when you hear that word growth?
The word growth means exciting things are happening. Growth is good. If you're not growth, if you're not in growth, I always say to people, if you're not growing, you're going backwards. So it's either continuous improvement, continuous growth, or continuous decline. One or the other. You can't hold ground. Like there's no such thing as treading water in life, in health, relationships, anything. So I guess today we're talking more about business. Is that what you really want to focus on?
No, man. Whatever growth means to you as a person. Yeah.
Growth means there's personal growth. There's growth in your health, your relationships, your we're obsessed about continuous improvement here at Premier Group. Like we talk about lean a lot. If you see our videos, you'll know that. And lean to us is not a business tool; it's a way of life. Lean is, it's a human transformation system, and that's all about personal growth, because you've got to keep learning new stuff about continuous improvement. You've got to keep learning. Growth is about getting outside your comfort zone, and the more you get outside that, the more you grow, right? You stay stuck in that comfort zone. Am I touching it, Nick? What's happening here, Nick?
Oh, look, there's a lot of people out there, I think, that would rather.
Am I saying too much?
No, absolutely not. Would rather stay in that comfort zone.
Yeah,
right?
Well, it's human nature, right? It's human nature. Like,
and not
I
push
do heaps
themselves.
I agree. I do heaps of mentoring for young people that are struggling, people that have got depression, and I love doing that because I love lifting them up, cheering them up, giving them some tools to use and move their life ahead, get out of their funk, get out of their rut, get out of their self-obsession, because the world is full of that right now. Seems to be getting worse by the day. And the more you think about yourself, the more you spin out of control, and it's just a one-way street. It's a waste of time. Start thinking about others, start thinking about what you can do for others. The more unselfish you are, the happier you are. You look at our nurses and our doctors and the people that serve us every day. They're the happiest people. Often they're in the worst circumstances. Waikato Hospital, you go up there. I've had lots of sessions up there, for good or for bad, with different family and stuff. And the nurses are overworked, underpaid, but they're the most happy and content people. It's incredible. Like, I just think that's an amazing example for the whole of society. Is stop thinking about yourself, start thinking about others, move on. Anyway, growth. I'm digressing a little, but it all ties together really. Personal growth, getting outside that comfort zone. If you stay stuck in that all the time, guess what? Life's just going to get harder. I always say to people, you've got two choices. You got choices all the time, right? In life, you can choose. If you continue to take the easy choices, life gets harder. If you make the hard choices, life gets easier. And you gotta. It's a real change of mindset. It was for me, and it is for everybody that I've ever met. And you gotta choose your hard, right? You've probably heard of this before, but doing the easy thing, which is getting home from work, flopping down on the sofa, watching TV instead of getting out for a walk and listening to a podcast like this, a growth podcast, or a book on Audible, or getting outside and kicking the ball around with your kids. But you do that, and your relationship with your kids improves, right? So things get better because your kids will respect you more because you're respecting them. You're giving them your time instead of being a whatever lazy person on the couch. So that's the easy choice, but life will get harder because your relationship with your kids will deteriorate, your marriage will deteriorate, you might flop down and eat a bag of potato chips instead of grabbing a banana or an apple. That's the easy decision, but life will get harder. You will pay for it. And you will pay for it real bad. Because I watch this all the time. We employ, 75 people here. And the people that are the high achievers are the ones that choose the hard things. And life gets easier. Does that make sense?
Makes.
Also with growth, I'm probably going on too long, am I, Nick?
Nope, you're good, mate. No? You're good.
Also with growth, I like to say to people that if you're not growing, if you're not having problems, you're not growing. Like, growth brings problems. But a lean thinker or a high achiever is someone who learns to love problems. And that goes against all our natural inclinations. As a human, we hate problems. That's just our natural proclivity. Our natural is to shy away from problems, walk away from problems. But the more we embrace problems, whether it's that kitchen sink that needs fixing, like the faucet, or whether it's a relationship with a co-worker or whatever it might be, or your mum or your dad or your brother or your sister, if you keep walking away from that problem, nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to get better. In fact, things will just get worse and worse and worse. So we say more growth, fresh problems, embrace problems, because in every problem is a fresh opportunity to grow and learn and get ahead and move forward. You've got to embrace it.
Got to embrace it. Embrace those problems so that you
Absolutely. Learn to fall in love with problems. And it's a weird concept, but man alive, it's crazy. It's powerful.
Just on a side note, is that some sort of training you guys do through the Premier Business Academy? Or is that
Totally.
Cool.
And to our staff, in-house, out-house, whatever.
Yeah, so guys, listen to this. I'll leave links in the show notes wherever you're going to watch this on YouTube, TikTok, wherever like that. We'll just leave kind of links in those kind of notes as well, man. That's awesome.
That's awesome, Nick. Thanks. Because a big part of this, is mindset, resilience. That's where everything starts in business, in life. We're in a world that's increasingly has more pressure, more communication, more things coming at you from every angle. Huge peer pressure and social pressure on social media. Kids committing suicide because of terrible pressure and bullying on social media. We need to build much stronger. Our kids need to build resilience because the world's not getting really easier. It's getting tougher for the mind. So we've got to build resilience. We've got to build habits. We've got to build processes to, bring our kids up better and protect them from these things,
Hear you, man.
Really important.
I hear you 1000%. With kids similar age to you, I absolutely 1000% agree, man. That was a really good explanation of growth.
Wicked.
So let's take it back though. Let's
Okay.
go. This is who you are today, but everyone started somewhere.
Yeah.
What was that?
Still
job?
on the journey.
Yeah. That take us right back to that very first time someone gave you money in exchange for your labor, in exchange for your time for money.
Well, if I go way back as a kid.
Your very first job.
Yeah. Well, first paying job actually was a holiday job, right? But even before that, so that was in a plant nursery. My good friend, Mr. Pat, he gave me a job. He was very kind to take me on because I was a bit of a unruly young man. And yeah, he gave me a shot with weeding pots and fertilizing and propagating and in 45-degree hothouses, 40 degrees, super hot, super hard work. But grinding that out for 2-week holidays taught some good lessons. Really good lessons, teaches you, again, resilience, teaches you things, again, turning up to that job every day in the dark, 6 o'clock, 6:30 was the last thing a young guy wants to do on school holidays.
How old were you?
Oh, that one would have been 13, 12, 13, somewhere around there. Maybe younger, but around there somewhere. And then I tried to do as much work as I could during school holidays to earn some money. Yep. And it was mostly in sort of nurseries or agriculture or horticulture type roles. And just very repetitive. How much? I think $3.50 an hour was the first one, or $4 an hour.
Yep.
Yeah, crazy. When you look back, how with inflation and look at the minimum wage now, it's crazy. But going back before that, Dad was very good to me, and he was always like, I was always trying to figure out how could I earn some money, So it was like there was always little chores at home that I could do to earn a little bit of money, and then there was then we tried roadside stalls quite a few times when I was real, 8, 9, 10, selling lemons or grapefruit. We had these massive lemon trees and massive grapefruit trees, and we could pick bucket loads of the things, go and sell them.
Yeah.
Got really badly ripped off by a guy once selling cucumbers and lemons. I won't tell you the demographic because I'll get accused of being racist probably. But anyway, that was a big lesson, So never trust anybody.
Don't trust no one.
If you don't know them, Anyway, so that was interesting. But yeah, lots of fun.
So
does that answer your question?
Absolutely. So you had a job in the nursery.
Yeah.
$3 something an hour.
Yeah.
Repetitive work.
Very.
Did you enjoy it? Did you enjoy it?
I kind of like yes and no. I enjoyed the learning about business a little bit aspect and learning about work and but it's not like I probably wasn't in my happy zone, if you know what I mean, but I just knew that I was earning some money, I was being productive, just follow the process, just get up and do it, follow the process. Sometimes I had, people to talk to, other times I was doing it by yourself, so that was pretty challenging. And that was before the days of sort of Walkmans and earphones, so there was nothing, just me and the birds and, and the sprinklers coming on every now and again to soak you. Yeah, anyway, hard work.
Hard yakka.
Yeah.
Okay, so again,
good lessons.
Good lessons. And then after that, you did a little bit of market stuff, kind of like selling fruit inside of the road.
Yeah, we did a few of those in school holidays, mostly with a mate, so pretty fun. More just for entertainment, but we did earn a little bit of money here
just
and there.
Just for a bit of a laugh. And was there a university involved, or would you just go?
No uni. I was actually left school a little bit early, to my shame. If I had my time again, that's one thing I would do. I'd encourage every young person to complete your school years, do it properly. It's a bit of a long story, so I won't go into it. But I left a little bit early and went straight into a job in a nursery, another plant nursery, over in Cambridge, and that was good lessons there too. Two brothers, John and Dave, good fellas, and they were really kind to me and gave me a chance. Because I was a pretty difficult teenager. Probably hopefully that inspires someone that's listening. If you're a difficult person, well, be less difficult. Because actually you learn as life goes on. You learn that if you burn bridges, you burn relationships, whether it's your parents, your friends, whoever it is, it's not worth it. Like it's always, you always have regrets about that stuff. So don't be difficult.
So you went from one nursery to another nursery.
Yeah,
I kind of see a bit of a pattern forming here.
Yeah, so that was probably because that was kind of work jobs that were available that needed, that were a little bit outdoors, a little bit a little bit under a poly house or a glass house and things like that. But definitely enjoyed that that plant life, being able to propagate a plant, fertilize it, spray it, clip it, all the things. So that was that nursery was like azaleas, camellias, rhododendrons. What else was in there? Stuff like that.
I'm going to pretend I know what all that stuff means.
Yeah, okay.
I'm going to nod my head. I'm going to nod my head and agree with you. Yeah.
Anyway, so that was good because that taught me a lot of, again, hard graft. It taught me I have to get up early. I have to get to work on time. I can't just be a sloppy, arrogant piece of whatever that I was. So I had to make some changes to keep my job. So it was good for me, and it taught me a lot of basic life skills. And John and Dave were really patient with me. They're good fellas. And I still keep in touch. One of them's passed away now, but still keep in touch with John. Good guy. And anyway, so a lot to be thankful for there. Very grateful for that, giving that opportunity. Yeah, does that make sense?
Absolutely. Where did this kind of work ethic or motivation come from?
It's got to come from within. Like I always say this to people that I've got lots of people that I mentor, right? And some of them struggle with getting to work on time. Some of them struggle to even hold down a job. Yeah. And the first thing I say is like, I can motivate you, but to a point, you've got to take the stuff I'm telling you. You've got to take these tools and you've got to internalize it, and it's got to come outside of you. So you've got to write down some life goals every day. Like write it down daily, not just once a year. Write it down every day. Write down your goal. It might be buy a house in the such and such suburb. It might be get married and have a family. It might be whatever those goals are. Write them down every day, and that'll keep you fueled. Goals, I say that they're the fuel in the furnace of achievement. So write those goals down. Write down some things you're grateful for. Stop being a selfish, self-absorbed, self-obsessed twat. I'm sorry, I get a bit. I like to call it how it is there, Nick.
No worries.
Hope I'm not offending you or any of your viewers. Too bad.
Absolutely not.
And get outside yourself. Look outside yourself. That's the first thing. Most people I find that are depressed. People that I mentor, they're thinking about themselves. They've just got into this really negative cycle of poor me, victim. I've had a bad upbringing. I've had this. I'm like, yeah, I know, but I know so many people in our business even that have had terrible upbringings, but they've made that decision not to be a victim, to control what they can control, and they can't change their past, and they accept that, and they have to move forward. So I don't know if I'm answering your question, but that it has to come from inside. My dad was always a hard worker. My mum was always a hard worker. I'm the oldest of 8 kids, so dad had to work really hard to feed us. He was starting from when I was really little, I can remember him starting his accounting business from an office at home. So, of course, I had that model, that role model, and I was a lazy twat at home a lot, and I have lots of regrets there. Got to move past those. But again, if I lived my life again, it would be like respect dad, respect mum more, do more stuff for them, because that's where you can learn. And mum was amazing. She is like, the washing, everything for 8 kids, man, and they're all close together.
Wow.
They're amazing people. So I had good role models.
Good role models, yeah.
In my church as well, good role models. Everyone in my church works hard. They do, they really do their thing, and it's great to be surrounded. And that's why I say to people, proximity is power. So if you're listening to this podcast right now and you're not achieving, you're not hitting goals, you're depressed, whatever, remember proximity is power. So you're really a sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So if you're in toxic company, get out. Ditch your friends, get out. They're not friends, they suck. Be honest with yourself. You've got to be brutally honest. Get rid of those friends. Start with a whole new set of friends who are going to lift you up. They're going to be honest with you. When you suck, they tell you when you suck. They tell you when you're winning. They cheer you on. But they don't just say, oh, yeah, you're a good guy, when you're not a good guy. You're sitting on a couch with no job because you're not a good guy. You need to get on, get out, and get productive. Get a new set of friends. Is that fair enough, Nick?
Mate, that's gold.
Is that too aggressive?
Absolutely not, man. I don't know what show you thought this was going to come.
I don't know.
But
I don't know. I've watched a few of them. They're really cool.
Not very PC over here. We're just going to tell it how it is, man.
Good.
It's what people need to hear. It's what people.
I don't get invited to PC shows anymore. I used to do lots of keynote speaking, still do, but I've definitely lost a few clients.
Tell it how it is. Be unapologetically yourself.
Less waste, less fluff. Less
unapologetically
bubbles.
yourself, man. So, love all that, absolutely. We kind of touched on what you're doing now, but like just give us some more of a rundown, right? So, Premier Group.
Premier Group.
Premier
What are
Group.
we?
What
Who
is it?
are we?
What is it?
Okay, so where we came from landscape design and construction.
Right.
So I started a little business when I was maybe 19, I think it was, a landscape business. So I worked for a couple of years in the nursery and then went out. Dad financed me into a little truck. He was amazing. He just, he's really supported us all the way through. It's been amazing. So thanks, Dad, if you ever see this. He probably won't. I'll send him a copy just in case.
Send him a copy.
There you go. Anyway, big shout out to Dad. So little truck and some tools, and away we went. Right, okay, and then started doing little softscaping jobs, planting jobs. Actually, John and Dave gave me lots of their little plant. They had lots of, because they were doing lawn installation, so they gave me lots of. They didn't do planting and stuff, so they gave all that to me, and I sourced the plants and blah blah blah. So got into business, made endless mistakes, because for some reason back then I wasn't into reading business books. I don't know why, don't ask me why, but I didn't catch that buzz till 2015, so it was like years down the track, and that changed a lot for me. So it's been a big life lesson. But back then Dad was kind of my mentor, but he was busy with his accounting, and I probably didn't spend enough time with him, and we weren't doing daily meetings or anything like that. It was more just casual catch-ups. So made some money, lost money, made money, lost money. So we had good months, bad months, good years, bad years. Hired people, business grew. We got it to about, we were 2 landscape designers and then 3 installation teams. And so we had a lot of gear and a lot of overhead. And we had some really good years. And we started doing some really good jobs. We're doing swimming pools and we got into all sorts of stuff. Then we got into some manufacturing, which is where Premier Group came from. So Premier Pavers. So it was a little business we bought, some molds, a little vibrating table, a concrete mixer. Very primitive, very simple. And then we started in the winter months when it's raining, our landscape team would make some pavers. Very primitive, very, very, very simple. And then we started using these pavers on our jobs. And then the GFC hit 2008, 2009, and like all our landscaping work pretty much dried up. And we had to make a real bad decision, real challenging decision, I should say. Tried to sell the business, no one wanted to buy it. And it didn't have a good enough. Yeah, I had some reasonable financial history, but just no one wanted to touch a landscaping business back in those years. And then we decided let's just go boots and all go dive in deep on the manufacturing. So we actually shut that landscaping business down. We finished our job, shut it down, and one of our team carried on landscaping, and he took most of our clients. So they got looked after. Anyway, long story. And then we really cranked up the manufacturing. So we really, really gradually cranked that up. And then we had crazy years, 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, when we had 100% year on year growth. I went around this little Toyota Hilux, showing these pavers to Mitre 10 stores all around the country. Got a few of them on board, did some little displays, got a few pallets of stock, and then went to head office, Mitre 10, and said, hey, look, T-Rapa's doing this, Pumps and North's doing this, because that's a co-ord, right? So you can sell store by store. It's a what they call a co-ord business model, co-op, and cooperative. And then so support officers were like, oh, this looks great, because they had no what we call wet cast paving. They had no wet cast paving nationwide. We said we can do this nationwide. Here's the price. Blah blah blah. We took some big risks and bold moves. Anyway, so and then it just grew, and we did heaps of radical stuff with them. We totally transformed their displays. We went from they used to have paving displays in 2 bays with, maybe 4 pallets. We went right up to like 30 pallets with 12 display tray, 12 bays, and we went nuts and did a great job for them. And we still work with them. They're a great customer of ours. So thanks, Mitre 10, if you're listening. So and then right up till the current day where we do Premier roofing. We do so that's roof tiles. We supply and install. We do Premier turf, synthetic turf for lawns, tennis courts, golf putting greens, hockey fields. We do paving, driveways, patios, bricks. The Premier brick range for outside your houses. We sell to GJ Gardner and Classic Builders, Signature Homes, Genian Homes, all the group home builders around the country, and then lots of high-end products now that we do to lots of the more high-end residential builders, lots of bespoke sort of jobs. Anyway, on and on. I don't know how long you want me to spend, but there's a lot of products, a lot of brands. I think there's about 12 brands now.
And that's come from landscape design and
landscape design and construction, yeah. Because we saw a real need. When we were designing and constructing, I've always loved paving for some reason because it just looks cool. It looks way more quality than concrete. I just hate poured concrete. It looks so cheap and budget and nasty. So but we were only buying off Firth or through placemakers, and quality was average, service was terrible, and if something went wrong, there was no backup, no support, no nothing. So we're like, wow, there's a big opportunity here. Let's do it properly. And so we have, and we've pushed them pretty much out of Mitre 10, pretty much pushed them out of Bunnings. And thanks to quality, service, and an incredible culture that backs all that up.
Man, the disruptor, and
Yeah, we have been. It's like David versus Goliath. Like that's our story, really.
Firth
and we're still up against
ginormous.
these massive corporates. They've bagged us in their marketing before. They're like, this premium this and premium that, and they're using our branding. And they're like, whatever, it doesn't matter. We're still smashing. It's fun. We're just taking market share off them every day.
Wow.
And same with the big brick suppliers, like the big importers. We're literally grabbing customers off them every day. But it's service, it's quality. We don't apologise for that because we're giving better service, better quality, better support,
better product.
Everything is better, and they love it.
So
the builders love it.
That's a really good 5-minute rundown on that whole journey between when you started off as that landscape designer to where you are now.
Yep.
Appreciate that. It was very succinct.
Is that what you wanted? Or not?
Absolutely, bro.
I mean, I can expand, but
no.
I know we're going over time, so I'm here for as long as you want me.
What I do want to ask though is I think you've already dropped quite a lot of nuggets throughout this whole thing, right? So someone's going to be listening to this who probably has a truck and maybe is doing lawns or maybe doing something a little bit similar.
Having a go.
It doesn't have to be like a hands-on job. It could be sitting in an office. They could be sitting in an office with some earbuds on, thinking to themselves, this guy, he's gone from here and now he's over here.
Yep.
What words of advice would you have for those people that you haven't already kind of mentioned? What kind of words of advice would you have for those guys? Just one little piece of kind of like takeaway for them.
Yeah, it's hard. Okay, so if I did it all again, kind of thing, like what would I do differently? No, or is it different?
We'll go with that. But
whatever you say. You're the host.
In terms of, some people might be a bit stuck in their job. A few people that perhaps in a job that they just hate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's talk about if you're an employee working in a job. I would say, and this is the best advice I give to everyone, that become indispensable. Even if it's a crap job, even if you're in a checkout operator, become indispensable. Because you know what? If you don't get a raise, if you don't get promoted, someone else is going to find you and you're going to be in high demand. But if you treat your job with disdain and disrespect, you're disrespecting yourself. You're disrespecting your family, your parents, anyone in the world who's helped you to where you are today. And don't tell me you're a self-made person, because no one is. Everyone is only here with the service of others, right, Nick? You know that.
Absolutely.
I can see you're that type of guy, just by your face. And what I know about you is that you respect that you've been served by your doctor, the guy that collects the rubbish, the fire department, the police department, everyone who serves us. That's why we're here. If they didn't, people that didn't serve, our teachers, right? Some people we owe huge debts, we're indebted to, right? We can never pay them back.
Old bosses.
Yeah, mentors, whatever. Boss, yeah.
Wife.
So you got your wife, everything. Yeah, absolutely.
Kids, everyone.
Absolutely. How could you be here without the service of your mother or your father? You can't. You could not survive. So we come into the world helpless, we come into the world with nothing. And then through the service of others, we might build up something. We might build a business. We might build a great life. And then we leave with nothing. So what happens in between? You might have 70 years. You might have 80 years if you're lucky. So you got to think to yourself right now, if you're listening to this and you've got a bad attitude at work, the first thing is to admit it, okay? And you can't go anywhere. It's like a flat tire. You won't go anywhere till you change it. So change it. And only you can do that. So change your attitude today. Seriously, change it. This is your moment, right, Nick? Let's give them a moment. Let's give these people who are listening, this is your moment. This is your little, what's the word? What's that word, when this Japanese word, a moment of enlightenment. I can never remember it. Yeah, it's a cool word. It'll
come to us.
It will. When we're finished, it'll come to me and I'll voice note you and say, Nick, it was this word. Anyway, so it's like, use today's podcast as your reason to change, okay? And say, right, I'm going to stop having this bad attitude and I'm going to respect my job and my boss, even if I think he's a tool, because there's plenty of bad bosses out there. I know that. I've worked for them over the years too. And but just realize that he's making lots of sacrifices. He's taking lots of risk to actually have a business and provide employment. Just, you've got to realize that, and you've got to respect that, because even if he's an utter tool of a guy or a woman or whoever they are, they have still taken a risk. They've still provided you with a job. You're getting bread on the table because they've taken a risk. So respect that. Work hard, become indispensable, and learn. Start reading good business books. Start reading good personal development books. Don't read the fluffy BS crap. There's so much crap today. I can recommend the best books in the world for you. I read hundreds. I read a book a week, right, Nick? A book a week on Audible. So I can make really good book recommendations. You probably can too. You've probably read way more than me. But anyway,
Not a book a week.
I digress. So what I'm saying is, read some book and then you learn. You can start applying those principles and aim to be 1% better every day in your health, in your relationships, and at work. Just 1%. Set the bar low. That's all you need. But just get better every single day. Is that enough, Nick, on that?
There you have it, Ete. We get 1% better every day. There is that continuous improvement methodology coming through there.
Brilliant.
But no, I absolutely agree. And I was one of those employees that hated my boss, and I was one of those employees that had a bad attitude.
Same here.
And would blame others.
Yeah.
In my job.
Same, Nick.
That was my victim mentality.
Same.
Speaking to me.
Same.
And it took me a while though, until I kind of realized, well, hold on a minute, maybe it's me.
Yeah. I agree, man. And if there's any encouragement for people watching and they think, oh man, Bernard and Nick, they've built this great life and they're successful. We make this, and I still sometimes slip back to victimhood. I'm like, why did that happen to me? Or, why me? You've got to snap out of that real quick. So you just got to get better and better at just ditching that victim mentality and stop blaming others. An analogy I use a lot, Nick, is this in business. We train our leadership team. We say, look, listen, every time, we call it the window and the mirror. Every time things are going great, look out the window and praise your team. Every time things turn to custard, look in the mirror and accept responsibility. And then otherwise you're going to have a crap life. I promise you that.
There you go, man. Hey, look, I know we could make this a 4-hour-long podcast, which
we could go all day. We could go all day, Nick. I'm enjoying this. I haven't done this for ages.
There is probably a follow-on.
What do we do more? What do we do more together?
Point.
What do we do more?
Absolutely. There is a follow-on coming, I can see. If you made it this far in the podcast, actually, I was going to announce our webinar, but by the time this comes out, our webinar would have already been done.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to mention the webinar. May 8th, 2 p.m. online. But I just want to say just a big mihi to you, a big thank you for coming along, sharing your story about when you were so young to where you are now, and I can definitely see you going places. And I'm just going to reiterate to all the CEOs watching this who still think it's a waste of time, a waste of money to get a phone out and start speaking to it.
It's really easy.
I can't save you. No one's going to save you. But no,
you're done for.
Go check Bernard out. Go check out his social medias. You get a photo of me on the thing. I'm doing
there we go.
Up.
Perfect.
Go check out his social media. Go check out Premier Group. If you're not even a customer of Premier Group because you don't have a landscaping business or roofing business or anything that we're going to buy, go check out the Premier Business Academy, where you'll just get some ideas and you'll get some guidance from people like Bernard to run your business a little bit better in a holistic way. So,
nice,
brother. I really appreciate this. We are going to do more. And I've been your host. This has been Bernard. And see you guys on the next one, on the next podcast.
Thanks, Nick. You're awesome. Thanks for inviting me along. Really appreciate it. And let's do this again. Awesome stuff.